So the play is about the birth of the NHS, and that's a story that's told from the point of view of a woman called Iris Elcock, who is both a GP and a foot soldier in the Labour Party over the first 6 months of 1948. So she's someone who's been instrumental in developing and building the NHS, and we join her at the point when she discovers that her husband, who's also a GP, is voting differently to her in the British Medical Association plebiscite, which was the voting on whether they wanted an NHS or not. And lots of doctors at the time were not on the side of having an NHS. So it's in part a play about can a marriage survive having different political views to your partner. It's a love story, and it's a play about how difficult it is to have revolutions in both a broader political sense and in our own lives. One of the facts that inspired the play is that when the NHS first started, the biggest symptoms that were being presented to NHS doctors were women with prolapsed uteruses, which was so telling to me, because actually prior to the NHS existing and healthcare being free at the point of delivery, there were just vast numbers of women in this country who were walking around with quite severe conditions, so that there would always be sixpence for the children or for their husbands. And it was something that really sharpened my sense of the NHS as a feminist project. The play is a bit of a gauntlet that I've thrown down in front of Mike and Anne and Fly, who's the brilliant designer. There's 32 scenes in the play, and there is a stage direction at the top of the play saying, please don't try and do this with realism, lots of complicated sets, and their response to that is really beautiful and elegant, and they're using a revolve that moves almost constantly through the play, sometimes very fast, sometimes very slow, and cameras. Because the play is about storytelling and how the left tells stories, or fails to sometimes, and it allows us to sort of close up on moments of intimacy or frame certain moments that are important in the story in a particular kind of epic way. I've wanted to work at the Donmar for a really long time. It's a space that a theatre I love. It's sort of paradoxical in that it is very intimate, and you feel very involved in what is happening on stage as an audience member there. But at the same time, it can hold it can hold epic, it can hold huge sweeps of sort of story and history and all of that. It feels like a big little space. And I think also it sort of sets actors beautifully. It's like a sort of beautiful ring where like it just allows brilliant actors to sort of sit at the centre and do great work. And working with Mike and Anne, the private joke I've been having to myself is it's a play about sort of a romance, and actually what is being directed by sort of a creative romance in Mike and Anne, because the relationship between them is so sort of balletic and symbiotic. Anne is a movement director originally, but the way they're directing this as a sort of tango is really wonderful to watch.